Passport? Check. Plane ticket? Check. Phone charger? Useless. This wasn't my usual kind of trip. No Google Maps to guide my way, no Instagram to document every meal, no quick email check before bed. I was diving headfirst into the unknown, a world without the internet's comforting glow. It felt strange, like forgetting to put on shoes before leaving the house. A wave of unease washed over me. How would I navigate? Would I miss important messages? The digital tether that usually connected me to the world was cut, leaving me feeling vulnerable and exposed. But there was also a flicker of excitement, a sense of liberation. This digital detox, however unintentional, felt like a chance to break free from the relentless demands of the online world. It was an opportunity to reconnect with the real world, to experience the rawness and immediacy of life without a filter. As I boarded the plane, the anxiety began to melt away, replaced by a sense of anticipation. The unknown awaited, and for the first time in a long time I was truly present, fully immersed in the moment. The adventure was about to begin. The first few days were the hardest. Without Google Maps, I felt like a ship without a rudder. Every turn felt like a gamble, every intersection a potential wrong choice. I relied on crumpled paper maps, their faded lines and outdated information a far cry from the precision of GPS. I caught myself reaching for my phone 100 times a day only to be met with the same frustrating message: no signal. The digital phantom limb syndrome was real. The need to check emails, scroll through social media, even just to see the familiar icons on my home screen, was surprisingly strong. It was a stark reminder of how dependent I had become on technology. The constant stream of information, the need to be connected, it had become an addiction. And like any addiction, breaking free was painful. The silence was deafening. The lack of notifications, once a welcome respite, now felt like isolation. But slowly, something started to shift. The initial anxiety began to subside, replaced by a strange sense of calm. Without the constant distractions, I found myself more present, more aware of my surroundings. The world, no longer filtered through a screen, seemed sharper, more vibrant. Getting lost became a regular occurrence. But with each wrong turn, with each stumble, I discovered something new. Hidden alleyways bursting with life, local markets brimming with exotic sights and smells, breathtaking views that no travel blog could ever truly capture. I learned to embrace the detours, to see them not as failures but as opportunities for unexpected adventures. And in those moments of uncertainty, I discovered a resilience I never knew I possessed. Without Google Translate at my fingertips, I fumbled through conversations with locals, relying on a hodgepodge of broken phrases, hand gestures, and charades like pantomimes. It was frustrating, hilarious, and ultimately, incredibly rewarding. There was a purity to those interactions, a genuine human connection that transcended language barriers. People went out of their way to help, their smiles and laughter speaking volumes even when words failed. I'll never forget the old woman who took me in when I got caught in a sudden downpour. She spoke no English, and I barely a word of her language. Yet, with a warm smile and a steaming cup of tea, she welcomed me into her home, offering me shelter and a glimpse into her life. We sat together, the rain drumming a steady rhythm on the roof, communicating through smiles and gestures, sharing a moment of human connection that transcended language and culture. It was a powerful reminder that even in our increasingly disconnected world, kindness and compassion are universal languages. There was the shopkeeper who patiently explained the different spices, his passion for his craft evident even if I couldn't understand his words. And the group of children who, with infectious laughter, taught me a local game, their joy bridging the gap between our worlds. These encounters, though fleeting, left an indelible mark. They reminded me of the inherent goodness in people, the willingness to help a stranger, to connect, to share a laugh. These were the moments that truly made the journey special, moments that wouldn't have been possible if I'd been glued to my phone. Section 5. The language of gestures bridging cultural divides. Without the crutch of technology, I was forced to engage with the local culture on a deeper level. I became more observant, more attuned to the nuances of human interaction. I learned to read body language, to decipher facial expressions, to communicate through shared smiles and knowing glances. There was a freedom in this nonverbal communication, a rawness and honesty that often gets lost in translation. It was a reminder that sometimes the most powerful connections are made not through words but through shared experiences, through the simple act of being present with another human being. I found myself drawn to local markets, vibrant hubs of human interaction. The air buzzed with activity, a symphony of sights, sounds, and smells. I watched as vendors and customers haggled over prices, their banter a lively mix of gestures and good-natured ribbing. I observed how families interacted, the dynamics between parents and children, the unspoken language of love and respect. These were glimpses into a world rarely seen by tourists, a world hidden in plain sight, accessible only to those willing to put down their phones and truly see. Section 6. The Lost Art of Conversation. Rediscovering the Power of Dialogue. With no digital distractions, I rediscovered the lost art of conversation. Meals were no longer solitary affairs punctuated by the glow of a smartphone screen. Instead, they became opportunities for genuine human connection. I found myself striking up conversations with strangers, sharing stories, exchanging perspectives, and forging bonds over shared plates of food. These weren't just meals, they were cultural exchanges, opportunities to learn, to grow, and to expand my understanding of the world. One evening, I found myself sharing a meal with a local family. We talked for hours, their stories painting a vivid picture of their lives, their hopes, their dreams. I learned about their culture, their traditions, their struggles, and their triumphs. It was a humbling experience, a reminder that despite our differences, we are all connected by our shared humanity. We all want the same things: to love and be loved, to find meaning and purpose in our lives, and to leave the world a little better than we found it. Section 7. The Beauty of Boredom, Embracing the Present Moment. Without the constant stimulation of the digital world, I rediscovered the beauty of boredom. Long bus rides, once dreaded, became opportunities for introspection. I found myself gazing out the window, watching the world go by, my thoughts flowing freely without interruption. I started journaling again, putting pen to paper, capturing my thoughts, feelings, and experiences. The act of writing, of physically forming words on a page, felt grounding, a way to process and make sense of the world around me. I reconnected with the simple pleasure of reading. Lost in the pages of a book, I could escape into other worlds, other lives, other perspectives. It was a welcome respite from the constant noise and stimulation of modern life, a chance to quiet my mind and nourish my soul. Section 8. Finding myself in the silence reflections on a digital detox journey. As my trip drew to a close, I felt a profound sense of gratitude for the experience. Being forced offline had been a gift, a chance to reconnect with myself, with others, and with the world around me. I had faced my fears, embraced the unknown, and emerged from the experience feeling more alive, more present, and more connected than ever before. I realized that the constant connectivity we crave, the need to be constantly plugged in, can actually disconnect us from what truly matters. It creates a barrier between us and the world, preventing us from experiencing life in all its messy, unpredictable glory. Going offline wasn't just about escaping the digital world, it was about re-engaging with the real world. It was about being present in the moment, about savoring the simple joys of life, about connecting with others on a deeper level. Section 9. A call to disconnect. Embrace the offline world. We live in a world saturated with technology. It's easy to get caught up in the hustle, to feel tethered to our devices, to let the digital world consume us. But we have a choice. We can choose to disconnect, to step away from the screens, to silence the notifications, and to reconnect with the world around us. It doesn't have to be a drastic digital detox in a far-off land. Start small. Take a walk in nature without your phone. Have a meal with loved ones and leave your devices behind. Engage in a conversation without checking your notifications. You might be surprised by what you discover. You might find yourself more present, more mindful, more connected to the world around you. You might even rediscover the beauty of boredom, the joy of human connection, and the simple pleasure of being alive. So put down your phone, step away from the screen, and embrace the offline world. You might just find yourself